Pizarro golazo! Pizarro golazo! Here's the goal scorer, Morgan! And he's done it again! Lewis Morgan with a second of the match! Higuain will have the goal! And he's framed the top 90! It's a sensational first goal for Gonzalo Higuain!
Well, buddy, it only took to the first preseason match for the standard Inter Miami delay, COVID delay to take effect. I am talking about our preseason game that was canceled, that should have taken place on Saturday.
We did not get far.
We didn't even get out the gates, dude.
We're still stuck like a horse, like at the Kentucky Derby that's just stuck behind the bars.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched the Kentucky Derby enough, but I kind of see what you're trying to say there.
You still do owe me, and I'm going to say owe me a trip to Kentucky.
Yeah, all right, well, you can come anytime you want, bud.
It doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't seem that way. I never invite you. I'll get you out there, buddy. Don't worry. But we'll go once. Well, you don't want to go there when you can't go and just watch on TV. You got to go when COVID clears up. But anyway, welcome everyone to the Inter Miami podcast. Per usual, it is Jay and Alex on the mics with you, bringing you another update. We have a pretty action-packed episode that we had planned. Might call a little audible and drop a little midweek care package bonus episode on you because we just do have a lot of stuff to get to and a great interview we know a lot of people will be excited about. But I guess first and foremost, let me ask you, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I got to say, we are sitting here on a Sunday afternoon in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. My bracket is busted. I don't know about you, Jay, but this has not been an NCAA tournament for the books.
I decided to take this year and just sit out.
Did you?
First time in 15 years. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to dabble.
Actually, you know what? I've been meaning to tell you this, and honestly, there's no better time. But the fact that you didn't organize the office tourney this year now means that there is no office tourney.
Well, I carry that office so far, but, they kind of snubbed Louisville. So, my interest was out. I'm just solely riding on Florida State at this point. But, yeah, I wasn't about to gamble on this because I'm not trying to just lose more money over here.
I hear you, bud. Outside of March Madness, we did have our last installment of the 3-part, not 4-part, but 3-part mini series with the supporters groups. As we know, the Northern Pack is now a part of Vice City. So big shout out to Vice City, Southern Legion, and the Seas for joining us. That was our second annual supporters group series. And that is certainly an event that Jay and I look forward to every year.
Yeah, it's truly a good time to catch back up. Of course, we run into them at events and games and stuff like that, but always nice to have them back on the pod so the listeners can, stay updated and continue to make their decision on which one they want to join.
For sure. And, if you're a listener of this podcast, you know that we support any of them. And we just encourage people to go out and give it a shot. If you're on the fence of, joining a supporters group or not, you don't know unless if you go out to one of these events. And, this last week seemed to really pick up in supporters groups events. Saw a lot of social medias there going off with videos, pictures, etc. from the weekends. It looked pretty fun. Seemed like a couple barbecues, some cookouts, some soccer matches, some fun, some hollering, the thing.
Yeah, well, if you want to at least watch some soccer, I guess at this point, since our Miami FC game, which everyone was looking forward to, right? We got Miami FC and Inter Miami playing each other. It was going to be a great little local rivalry. But if you want to watch it, you might as well go play a pickup game because hopefully this next one's not canceled.
Yeah, because it ain't happening right now. We'll see if it gets postponed, but probably not.
Yeah, and we have an action-packed episode. We've got obviously team news coming at you. We got 2 new player signings. We have 1 well-deserved new contract. Fort Lauderdale CF has a new head coach. We will talk about that. And then, of course, we have an awesome interview with none other than CF Pabs. He is the MLS star, and I say star for Inter Miami.
Jay says star, but he's still a little bit bitter that he didn't get that call from the squad. He plays the sticks, and he was a little disappointed.
All this practice and dedication for nothing.
Don't worry, sir. You'll have your shot one day, and I know you'll be prepared. But the next preseason match is March 27th against against the Tampa Bay Rowdies over in Al Lang Stadium in St. Petersburg. And that's actually the site that last year that game went down.
They had back-to-back weeks out there. We went to the first one. Yep. That was, I think, the first non-closed door preseason match they had. So, like the true Inter Miami champions that we are, and with a full charged cell phone battery, we streamed that out to the Inter Miami Facebook fan group. However, we will not be doing that this year. It is a closed door match, and we are going to be at another Inter Miami event, a little fundraiser. Well, I will. I think you have a brunch or something, but that you committed to. But
actually, I was going to tell you later, but I'm actually I'm packing up the suitcase, charging the drone, and there's no airports, over in St. Pete.
There is no airport next to it, so you could fly without being arrested by the FAA. So I'll go do the charity work for the children of the Inter Miami community, and then you drive over by yourself to St. Petersburg. Go find an adjacent parking lot and get that drone up in the air and give us a nice Papa George sky cam.
Jay has been against the drone and honestly probably keeping me out of some serious trouble locally here in Fort Lauderdale. There is an air pad right next to the stadium, and it seems like U.S. laws do forbid taking up personal aircrafts into the vicinity.
Yeah. I mean, it's not commercial airlines. It's more rich people that have their own jets that you're going to upset, but I think the legal repercussions are still significant.
I don't quite agree, but nobody
until your drone gets caught in a Learjet G5 turbine and takes out a millionaire from the sky.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be the best if I just took down like Mark Cuban there. He wouldn't be thrilled.
And if that happens, you'll look over your shoulder. I won't even be there.
No,
you'll just see me sprinting off into the distance.
Yeah, you definitely say that you weren't a part of this.
I ain't going back to jail
about that. But anyway, we have 3 regular season games announced, and this is big time. It's a little odd scheduling going down, but anyway, first match of the year of the regular season, I dare say, will be against the LA Galaxy. This will be a home game on April 18th. Next match will be at the Philadelphia Union on April 24th. That will be a 6-day gap between matches. And then to our last currently announced match will be against Cincinnati FC. That will be a home game here in Fort Lauderdale, and that will be on May 16th. So, Jay, I got to ask, man, because this made me do a little bit of a double take, right? And I think it kind of caught you by surprise when I texted you. I was like, that is a 22-day break between the Philly and the Cincy game. And does that seem kind of odd to you? Like, do you think that, like, they intentionally did that? Do you think that there's going to be, like, games to be filled in during those days? Because that is 22 days of downtime between those 2 matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question there. I don't know, man. Maybe they're just leaving some room in case they have to reschedule something. I honestly am not too aware of the CONCACAF Champions League schedule, but I'm not sure what that break is. We'll definitely have to find out what's going on there. Obviously, we've dealt with so many breaks in between games. That's something we don't like to see. We don't like to see. And this season is without a doubt going to be I was going to say infected with COVID, but poor choice of words there. But COVID will share its ugly face at some point in the season. We hope that does not happen too much, but maybe they're using that gap to potentially fill in some matches that maybe would get postponed. Yeah, there's a possibility. They are going to have fans. They're very adamant on having fans. They're going to give a preference to season ticket holders. You're probably looking at somewhere between, I think, 3,000 to 6,000 initially to start to kind of give it an initial run, see how everything goes. I will, tell you of these 3 games, the one I am most excited about is going to be the LA Galaxy. The Union's a great team. Aronson's over with RB Salzburg. And, they're not going to be as equipped. I mean, he's such a talented player, but they're still going to be a really good team. But I'm most excited about LA Galaxy because that's the home opener that we deserved, that everyone was excited about until 48 hours prior. It got ripped away from our sweet, soft hands by the ugliness of COVID. And, we still have yet to have that true home opener with all the fans, rowdy, pink smoke popping, La Familia singing, goals dropping. And even though all the fans won't be able to be there, it is some constellation to be able to play LA Galaxy in our opener again.
I agree, sir. I think that, it won't be to the capacity that we all would have imagined it to be, if COVID did not happen. But, we'll take it. We'll take it. It's going to be great to play in front of our fans. I know a lot of chatter has been, just what a home field advantage our stadium is going to be once this whole thing goes away. Just being in the stadium for a few games last year, with more of the supporters groups and, that final match against Cincinnati when we were playing in a hurricane. But to just kind of visualize and be there and kind of experience what type of impact the fans can have on the actual match in that arena, it's going to be a tough play to come in and beat us, man.
It really will. That's something that we kept, kind of mentioning and talking to throughout the games that we went to is, the energy is already there and the capacity is minimal for all those games. I mean, that last game, just to make it into the playoffs with Mikey's golazo from outside the box and the rain's moving sideways, everyone's wet, everyone's yelling. Like, that was just the kind of prequel, right? The foreshadowing to what it can be. And honestly, that'll probably go down as one of my favorite soccer games that I've ever been to or watched. And of course, I had the privilege of having, my good friend and you there, and we just had a blast, man.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, last year we ran a poll and it said what was the most memorable moment of the 2020 season, and it was that moment that we made the playoffs, with that final, goal and ass kicking of Cincinnati.
And then checking the phones to see how the other teams were going, because we did need some other teams to kind of help us out, man. It was truly a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I think we actually needed to have about like 4 to 5 things kind of.
It was
go
like,
our
3 out of 4 that needed to happen. It was.
And it all happened over the course of 5 minutes. So, we're, needless to say, we are stoked. Football is back. Football is back. What, in under a month, Jay? We got games real happening?
And I don't want to jinx anything because last season was such a roller coaster. But yeah, in less than a month, we should potentially have our first official home opener match. And we're looking forward to it. The fans are looking forward to it. The fans are hungry. Give them what they want.
Yes, sir. Well, these 3 matches are going to be cool. We're going to go ahead and see when additional matches will be released by the league. But as Jay said, I think it's a no-brainer with LA Galaxy being the most hyped of the 3. Philly, we'll see. They are the reigning Supporters Cup champions. So we'll go ahead and see if they can run that back with a few new faces. And, Cincinnati FC, Jay Brenner out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, is now the highest paid player in the entire MLS. It's going to be cool to kind of see him on the pitch playing our squad. Yeah,
no, it will be. He is highly touted. He is a young, kind of vicious, aggressive striker. This is going to be good. I mean, he's out of Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo, is a phenomenal city. If you want to visit Brazil, you're probably going to Rio or Sao Paulo. But this is some of those out there. I kind of have an affinity towards my Brazilian players. I would, love to have him on our team, but we already have our DPs, man. We're already pretty set. But yeah, that'll be a very exciting game. It'll be very interesting to see how much he can impact FC Cincinnati's team, because they've had some really hard times expanding, being an expansion team and everything, but should be a good game.
Will he be the Ibrahimovic impact, or will he be the Chicharito impact is really the question.
So that's I don't mean Chicharito apparently has had a great offseason of training. He's focused on.
Well, we're going to find out real quick.
We're going to find out real quick. But in no way, shape, or form are either Brenner or Chicharito the Swedish god that is Zlatan Ibrahimovic himself, man. They probably won't have that big of an effect, but you got to be able to drop goals to win. Cincinnati can't do that. So with this guy, the interesting thing is, how many goals is he gonna score in this first season?
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait to find out. Hopefully that's 0 against our club, but that is our third match getting played on May 16th right now. And yeah, to follow up with him being the highest paid player in the MLS, contract is worth $13 million with $2 million in incentives. So that brings us to a total of $15 million. And, we all know you tune in to the Inter Miami podcast for fast math, but there we go. Yeah, the highest paid player in the league.
There we go. Now, as far as, that's a great signing, sure, but we've got some new signings of our own. So why don't you kind of walk us through what we're looking at here?
2 big signings to touch on today, Jay, and it brings me great excitement to announce Mr. Joevin Jones. Hey.
For those of you that don't know, Alex just could not deal with me having the soundboard, so he now has his own soundboard. So I told him with great power comes great responsibility. Do not abuse the soundboard. And so far, he's doing pretty damn good, but we'll see how it holds up throughout the episode. I know he's just smiling ear to ear, just stoked to have one. But go ahead and welcome.
Here we go.
Let's get it. Joevin Jones, welcome to the club, baby. 29 years old, Trinidad and Tobago, 5'11", left back. Gosh, it is good to have you on the club here, bud. This will replace Ben Sweat from last year. And, if you're a fan of Inter Miami, you can go ahead and know that Ben Sweat was probably the most controversial player on our club last year. So the man joins our Inter Miami beloved Herons with 38 goals and 269 total career appearances. And this guy, he's an MLS guy, Jay. He's a true MLS guy, and I really like that because I think too many times are we pulling players from overseas out of the MLS. I think at some capacity you have to have the understanding of the players, the coaches, the tactics, the style of MLS to actually have success in this league. So I'm pretty excited to see him join the team. He first came to MLS in 2015 when he joined the Chicago Fire and made 28 appearances. He then moved to the Seattle Sounders. 2 stints, actually, Jay, with the Seattle Sounders. He actually most recently in 2020 was with them as well. 93 total appearances with the club. You had a short little stint in between those 2 seasons with the Seattle Sounders in Germany, but he returned for his final year, which was last year. Dude's had 96 international appearances for Trinidad and Tobago. He has an MLS champion, 2-time champion, with the Sounders. This guy not only is going to have an impact on the field, but in the locker room. And these are the types of pieces that win championships.
To just tally onto that, he was just recently called back up to Trinidad and Tobago. And most notably, this is someone Chris Henderson is very well acquainted with. Mm-hmm. He is the new director of sporting, taking over for Paul McDonough, coming from the Seattle Sounders. He's credited with really building them up into a perennial powerhouse in the MLS. But this is someone that he trusts, he likes, good replacement for Ben Sweat. And, we're really starting to see Henderson get his hands on this and take control. Just very similar to the, Gregore, however you want to, pronounce it. He was someone that Chris wanted to bring on to Seattle as a DP, ended up getting in Miami as a TAM deal. So, I really like that he is now steering this boat into the beautiful teal, warm waters of Biscayne Bay.
Yeah, and I think that this is a common thread. We see David Beckham clearly more hands-on, bringing in Phil Neville from Diego. And obviously this is Chris Henderson bringing in some of his guys. Mm-hmm. He needs to bring in pieces that he trusts. And honestly, how are you going to get a better impression of someone than playing with them for years?
Exactly. No, I mean, he I think his talent will be able to come in and fill in. It'll be really interesting. I do see him kind of edging himself up there as one of the starters. We'll see what happens when Gibbs comes over, because obviously LGP, Nico, and Shawcross are all pretty established in their role. So that'll be the interesting thing to see through the season. But I believe he could probably play in a winger capacity as well. And speaking of call-ups, again, just recently called back up to Trinidad and Tobago for some friendlies. And then Pizarro was also called back up into the Mexican squad for some friendlies as well. So, obviously I say it over and over, but man, Pizarro is one of the most hot up-and-coming Mexican football stars in the game today. So, just really happy that we can have him on the team. He's going to continue to grow and reach his peak levels and everything.
Yeah, I think Pizarro is probably the piece of our attack that most gets overlooked. Lewis Morgan, obviously all the respect and all the glory that is well-deserved to that man. New contract and all, bravo. And, having someone like Gonzalo Higuain, on the club as well, is one of the biggest names in the MLS. And I think Pizarro is one of those people that kind of flies a little bit under the radar, that doesn't get the recognition that he may deserve. But also I think for this upcoming year, I think he's going to take a lot of clubs by surprise.
I think he will. In like his most comfortable position is really on that left wing. Mm-hmm. That's how he was utilized, throughout his career and how they utilize him with the Mexican national team. He's versatile though. We typically play him in like a cam role central with flanked on his right by Lewis Morgan and on his left by Pellegrini. But it'll be very interesting to see. I keep mentioning it over and over. I feel like I'm a CD that's just skipping. But like with this new system, new formation, I cannot wait to see it. I really think that Alonso's just wasn't fitting for our players. So, we want to let them run free and really reach their maximum capabilities. And, I don't want to jinx this because, we got all hyped up on all the signings last year. It's very easy to do without really seeing, anyone play. But I feel pretty damn good. Our biggest concern was our back line, which unfortunately we thought was going to be our strongest point at the beginning of the season last year. So to see a pretty complete defensive overhaul, it feels good, man. It feels like we are now a pretty well-rounded team that can compete with any team in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, a signing like this too, another piece that we're about to speak about, who's our newest player, a signing that's going to join us a little bit later, but this just adds to depth, Jay. We have people like, Dylan Nealis, right? Or Christian McCoon, who, we have on this club who are going to need playing time and who deserve playing time. And, adding someone like this, who's established in the MLS, who's been there, done that, not only should probably get the nod, we'll see how the whole preseason goes. And obviously, that injury bug that we spoke about doesn't bite. But, we have a lot of depth on this club now in some spots that in the beginning of the offseason we simply didn't have.
We do. And, you look at like the depth chart and we shared that was, directly from the MLS, but the back line looks very, very interchangeable, whether they want to go with 3 at the back, 4 at the back, play some wingers, sweepers, whatever you want to call it. We definitely have the players. And the one thing I'm hung up on is, we reported earlier that Denzel Ulysses was no longer with the team. It looks like he's back. Like he's now back on the roster. He shared saying it's great to be back, but I wasn't sure if he was with Miami FC or Inter Miami, and there's not really any news. So that's something to keep an eye on. He's a young up and coming Haitian defender. We didn't see him last year, but even if we can just get him back on the academy, let him develop some more, or not the academy, but Fort Lauderdale CF, it'd be great. But I'll tell you what, bud, I'm very, very excited about this next signing we're about to go over. And, this is a rumor that we had heard for a while. It seemed like the deal wasn't getting done. But now everything looks good. Looks like we're going to get a reinforcement midway through the season after the summer transfer market opens. And I am talking about none other than Kieran Gibbs.
Hey, the boy's back on the sound bar. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to reduce your volume a little bit on the soundboard. But yeah, so, I'll tell you what, overall, absolutely thrilled. This is someone, I'd say probably most notably known from his time at Arsenal. Went on loan to Norwich City. Now he plays for West Bromwich Albion. To be able to get Gibbs, and I'm just going to leave with this, to be able to get Gibbs as well as Shawcross. I mean, we're bringing in 2 defenders with EPL experience, and we're bringing them into the MLS. They're senior. They are going to be taking on some leadership roles, really keeping our back line intact. And I mean, these are just absolute power moves that you want to see on a team who's being ran by David Beckham, the GOAT himself, all of our baby daddies, as we've said multiple times. But he will join the summer again. They're waiting for the summer transfer window to get him on free transfer. 10 years at Arsenal, 2007, 2017, with 137 appearances. Now he plays for West Bromwich Albion, 93 appearances. I mean, this is a guy who's played a fair share, and I think that this is a natural move for him. We're getting 2 EPL defenders on non-DP. I haven't really heard the specifics of the deal. It's more of a verbal agreement right now. So, I guess it could kind of fall through, but I expect them to be able to get everything finalized. But yeah, I mean, this will be a great addition to the team. I'm expecting in some capacity Gibbs, LGP, Shawcross, and Nico to be starters. And again, versatile, rotatable. We have quite a bit of depth, on our back line. So cannot be more excited for this. It'll be nice, I fully expect us to come out, be a very competitive team, but then to get an extra edge up on our back line in the summer is going to be a great way to finish the season, whether we're exhausted or if people are not in form or if the injury bug hits.
And I think that's the biggest part of this whole thing. These are like reinforcements coming down the line. This isn't a player who's going to start the season with us. It's going to be a player who joins us midway and will obviously follow through the rest of the year.
Exactly. And cheers to the future. He is, not really super old. He's 31, so we're getting some of this experience, and he could probably play until he's 35. Probably even longer than that.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, things are looking up for Inter to Miami in many ways, not just with the players who we recently signed, but big news out of the goalkeeper position, Jay. Mr. Drake Colander was called up to the U. That stands for Under 23 Men's National Camp. He is joining the national team, everybody. That's pretty exciting because, this is a position that, we talk to the fans all day, every week, et cetera. And really the goalkeeper is kind of the hottest topic right now in all the chatter. Is John McCarthy our guy? Is this our guy this season? Or, was last year a little bit of a flash? We've talked about in the past, his record is pretty strong, especially with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And, obviously the performance that he had at the end of last year, carrying us into the playoffs as Luis Robles went out. But, it's going to be a position of hot topic. So, Drake Colander will replace Jonathan Klinsmann, who did exit the camp with injury. So he will be on the USA's provisional roster for the Olympic qualifier. That was announced earlier this month.
Yes, it was. And I believe we shared that on social media. But yeah, I would love to see some Drake Colander. I really would love to see that. But, you and I seem to be at difference, and I think even, Than to a certain degree from our conversations. But I'm very confident in John McCarthy, highly touted, coming out of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. There's going to be some sort of competition. The starters have not been made, but I fully expect, I think John is capable, has the aptitude and can be a leader. And, he showed up when he needed to last season and really helped the team out.
There's no doubt he has the talent. I mean, we've seen it, right? He's carried this team into the playoffs, probably performed better than Luis Robles over the course of their tenure on Inter Miami last year. And, it's really just kind of a question mark to me, sir. I think only time will tell, like most things, but this is a position that I think we probably lack the most depth at this point. So if Drake Colander can pick up that backup role, potentially have a couple games, and some spotlights, see how he plays at the MLS level and also get some experience under the U.S. men's national team, I think that's big time.
It is, and I don't know if I don't think it's a depth thing because, most teams will have three keepers. I think maybe you're more concerned from a talent standpoint, right? But there are rumors that maybe we get Jan Oblak, coming over from Atletico, but it's tough. I'm sure that we will get a well-known keeper in the future with just having David Beckham as the face of the franchise. But if John's got to go out there and earn his respect, I'm behind you, buddy. And maybe you need to show, reassure the people that you are in fact the man for the job.
Well, listen, I respect any man who plays goalkeeper with a hat, right? And that shit is awesome. More people got to do that. But I guess, to your earlier point, talking about more talent versus anything, I actually think, last year was a demonstration of depth that goalkeeper needed. John was our backup. Luis Robles did get injured. He fractured his arm. He's posted a giant scar with, I don't even know how many stitches. So it wasn't like Luis got benched for John. It was the fact that Luis got injured over the course of play and was out the remaining rest of the season, and John got to fill in that gap. So that's the kind of depth that I'm talking about, where right now, if that were to happen to John, or if it's more on a performance standpoint of the club, we need a number two to step in.
Yeah, well, that we signed Luis Robles with the full intention of him being the starter, and he was named the captain. So I don't know how much of a competition there really was. I feel like, there's probably more competition in today's preseason camp between the keepers to see who's going to be the official starter. But again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I feel pretty comfortable with it.
Well, who I do feel comfortable with, Jay?
Always.
And that is Lewis Morgan.
The postman himself, none other, man. And big shout out to Lewis. He was able to get a new contract. Give me a single air horn. I've got it, buddy. Don't worry about
it.
He has just signed a new contract, 3-year deal with an option for the 2024 season. This is a restructured deal with targeted allocation money, and a player must earn more than the 2021 maximum salary budget charge of $612,500 to qualify for targeted allocation money. Now, it's kind of difficult to find contract and salary details for MLS players. They like to kind of keep that hush hush, but it was estimated that he was about $400K last season for a salary. So you're probably looking at something, north of that. And, but working with TAM money, which this club has done so well, but we are very, very happy. You deserve a raise. You probably deserve even another raise. I mean, we are just absolutely thrilled to have you on the team. I was, messaging back and forth with Lewis's mom, Veronica, and I was just telling her, how happy and grateful we are as a community that, Lewis has really bought in and loves the team and, wants to be here, for more than just a year or two. It's going to get tough because the better he plays, the more interest, these European teams are going to want to bring him back closer to his home of Scotland. But hey, buddy, come on, man. We're going to get 3 more years of Lewis Morgan. Like, that is amazing.
We were talking off mic too before, jumping on the pod. And what were the numbers that you saw in the transfer market that he was valued at?
Oh, yeah. So in August 26th of 2020, so we're talking kind of midway through the season, but shortly after the MLS resumed, when Lewis really started producing for us. I mean, we had always talked like it's going to be like a dam opening and flooding with water. Once he just drops that first goal, the rest are just going to come, and that's what happened. He was valued at this is off Transfer Market. I mean, this is a pretty reputable site. His market value in August was $880,000. Today, his market value is $3.85 million. So, I mean, we're talking a significant increase. I believe that is a four-time increase. More quick math, man. We got it. Someone gave me a college degree, unfortunately, but yeah.
What school did you go to again?
I went to State, where I'm not gonna say that line. Go Noles. Only one of my teams in the tournament. But John, Lewis in the club, John, his agent, and Lewis in the club were able to, put a lot of work into this and come to terms that, were agreeable between all parties. And he is ours for the foreseeable future. We are extremely excited. I can speak confidently on behalf of the entire La Familia, the entire Inter Miami community, whether that be local or worldwide. Every single one of us is very happy about this.
Absolutely. Super, super excited. Lewis, you have a home here now and forever. You always got an Inter Miami jersey, bud. But
oh, and you were talking about wanting to buy art for your new place. Because we just love plugging things. We're going to, again, plug Lewis's his significant other is an artiste. You
think I get a discount?
I don't know. Don't even ask, man. Just support him. Just support
the cause. Well, how about you chip in and support the
cause? I'm not in the market for art pieces right now, buddy. I am. I've purchased all my art pieces.
Yes. But outside of Lewis Morgan contract, big shout out Lewis. Super excited to see that happen. Big supporter of the podcast. He was on last year, and we look forward to having him back on this year. But outside of the senior club, have some big news for Fort Lauderdale CF. Darren Powell is the new head coach. Awesome. Welcome to the team, Darren. Well, actually, not welcome to the team. He was on the team previously, but welcome and congratulations on the promotion to head coach.
Yes, sir. Taking over for Christ.
Absolutely.
That's a big shoes to fill, but Phil.
Well, Phil. Did you say Phil or Phil?
Oh, I said feel, but then I corrected it to Phil.
See what we did there?
I did. That was good. Okay.
All right. But hey, as we just talked about, he served as an assistant coach under Jason Christ, who will now be moved to the senior club to be an assistant coach under Phil Neville. So, there it is. He has been with the club since 2020 and also has held the title of Inter Miami CF Director of Player Development. So obviously this guy is pretty entwined with what is going on in Inter Miami world. The club will open its 2021 USL League One campaign under Powell on Saturday, April 10th against the New England Revolution 2. That match will be at Inter Miami CF Stadium and is planned to be streamed on ESPN Plus. So go ahead, check it out, ESPN Plus. And in fact, Jay, every game of the 2021 League One season will air on ESPN Plus. So
nice.
Yeah, super
thing
cool.
I have it. Shout out Disney.
Exactly,
in
right?
that bundle.
I'm sorry, not new, but the complete season will be announced in the upcoming weeks, but do keep an eye out for that. Prior to joining Inter Miami in 2020, Darren served as a head coach of San Antonio FC in the USL Championship from 2016 through 2019. He also served as the academy director of Orlando City from 2014 to 2016 and was the head coach of Elon University from 2005 to 2014. So the dude obviously has a pretty outstanding track record, and honestly, everything that you read about this guy is positive. He's a beloved coach everywhere he goes. Winning seems to follow him, which is a good thing. And people think that we may see his face up in the senior club here soon.
Maybe he joins Christ as well, and it comes up to the senior club. We gotta get an interview with Jason Christ, because I really want to know the intricacies of balancing being an assistant coach with Inter Miami, but also running the U23 men's team. I mean, he just came out, they beat Costa Rica in Olympic qualifications. This would be the first time, I think, since 2008 that the U.S. can qualify. So far, so good. And, big shout out to Mr. Christ.
Yes. Welcome to the club. And in true Inter Miami fashion, we got to give you some air horns.
There we go. All right, man. I have a feeling that I'm going to regret you having your own soundboard, but it's okay. We'll keep it moving.
You didn't give it to me. I sought this out.
Yeah, you did. You kind of brought that in there without any communication. But at this point, we are going to take a quick break in the news. We will be right back. But in the meantime, enjoy this awesome interview we have with Mr. Pablo Georgakopoulos, who is the MLS star for Inter Miami. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? We are very, very excited to have someone very special on the podcast. First time guest, probably the first guest we've ever had in this space, honestly. We are talking about the man himself. You may know him as IMCF Pabs, but his real name is Pablo Georgakopoulos. And before we get started, just because I know Alex is so excited about this, being a Greek man himself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and I guess, without going too deep into it, tell us kind of your background between your parents as far as, their nationality and ethnicity, because Alex is one of the most proud Greek people you will ever meet in your life.
Tekanis.
Tekanis kala, So yeah, guys, like you said, Pablo Georgakopoulos. I'm 26 years old. I moved here into Miami from Valencia, Venezuela. I was actually born and raised there. And then my mom actually met my stepdad, and then they brought me here when I was like 14 years old. And I've been living in Miami since then, probably like 2008, 2009. And I went to high school here. I went to John A. Ferguson for 1 year in Kendall, 9th grade. And then I met a bunch of my friends that are now my friends, and they all went to Ronald Reagan High School in Doral. So I basically made my parents move from Kendall to Doral in order to be able to go to Ronald Reagan.
Gotcha.
and that's where I went my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And then after that, I was able to get recruited by Barry University to play NCAA Division II soccer collegiate.
Okay, so you're actually an athlete outside of just being a gamer.
I actually have
a lot of times
outside of FIFA.
Yeah, a lot of times those two don't coincide. But where's the Greek come from? Is that your mom or your pops?
No, that's my dad. My dad actually moved to Venezuela when he was like 21 years old, from Athens, and then he basically lived there. He's still there actually. He's living there with my brother and my sister, and then I have another sister that lives in Spain, in Madrid.
Wow. I got to ask, what is your favorite Greek island out there? There's a lot of them. There's Santorini, there's Mykonos, there's Pados, there's Crete.
I'll probably say Mykonos. Say Mykonos. It is very expensive though. But I mean, if you're gonna go have a vacation, you know that you're gonna spend money, right?
You gotta go all out.
Everyone who knows what goes down in Mykonos knows what this man is doing in Mykonos.
literally 100%.
So last thing, I guess, on the Greek background before we get into, yourself as the representative for Inter Miami on the EMLS side. But what's your favorite Greek food spot down here?
I would have to say there's this little like small restaurant in downtown Miami, which is like in front of the Miami Tower. You know the tower that like changes colors at night?
Yeah.
Was it
there's like this like little Greek spot I actually do not know the name properly, but it's literally right there around the corner. And it's basically like a hole in the wall, but it's so good, guys. It's so good. I highly recommend it.
All right, we'll have to check it out.
You know what? I got one that may be a little closer to everybody in Broward.
Is it Greek Island?
It is.
It's of course.
Greek
Island's
over
phenomenal.
on Oakland, US 1. Talk about it.
No
Talk
reservations. Get there early.
Just
with
straight
your
walk
day.
in, just straight go straight into the action.
Open kitchen. It's beautiful. All right.
So we got to ask you, man. This is the first time you're being on the podcast. Hopefully not the last. You know what I'm talking about?
It won't be the last one.
My man. But what got you into professional gaming in the first place? And obviously you just shared yourself. You played soccer at a collegiate level, but what got you into more of the e-gaming world?
Well, so like I've been playing FIFA since I was since it's like FIFA 10, right? Like I've been playing Ultimate Team, and I always was just like a casual, right? Like just like a regular casual player, like playing. And then like FIFA 18 started like it came out, right? And then I was just like, okay, like I'm actually gonna give it a shot, right? And then in the weekend league, I started playing it. And I would not pass from like 26 wins, right? And then to become verified, you got to hit 27 wins on the weekend league prior to like a certain date, right? So FIFA 18 took place. Little Pabs did not verify himself. He was not be able to compete. And then FIFA 19 came along. And then I was just like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm actually going to give it a shot. And then we tried, and we were not able to hit 27 wins either way, right? We were just like, okay, you know what? Like, I guess this is not for us. And then a new title came out, FIFA 20. And then I was just like, okay, I got my own money now. I work. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit of money into the game, open packs, and see if I could get a proper team in order to compete.
Pay to play.
I literally verified myself within the second week. Literally within the second week, I was just like, okay, you know what? Let's put our mind into it. Boom, 27 wins. We're like, all right, let's, like we're verified now. Let's try to compete in the regional qualifiers. And then the first qualifier took place, and we literally made it out of the Swiss format. So the Swiss format, for the people that don't know, is if you're 1-0, you play somebody that's 1-0. If you're 2-0, you play somebody that's 2-0.
Got it.
So that's how
talent level.
Yeah, that's how FIFA used to do like qualifiers. Now this year is double elimination bracket. Like you're at the top, you're in a winners bracket, you lose, you go to losers, you lose, you're out. So back then was a Swiss format where you played every single one whenever you had like the same record. So it kind of like cut out.
Is e-gaming right now for you a full-time job, or is it part-time, or
No.
talk to me about that?
It's actually part-time. I'm actually an account executive and logistics operation person for freight forwarder. It's called Onboard Logistics. I basically handle a couple of VIP clients, and then on the import side of the company, of like every single like shipment that takes place coming from like anywhere in the world, coming into like Miami, New York, LA, you name it.
So you are mortal for the time being, at least until
I'm on the emails, I'm on the phones. From 9 to 6, I'm just
regular
like
guy.
He's a guy just like everybody else listening right now. I love it.
now.
So definitely a part-time thing for me regarding the FIFA scene.
Yeah.
Very
Now
cool.
so the EMLS scene is primarily Ultimate Team, correct?
Correct.
You keep saying we, and I'd like to think, a lot of people come in here and they're very, very humble, but I know just from being a gamer / nerd myself and kind of grew up playing first person shooters and saw that competitive world emerge, there is a lot more than just the player. So tell us about, the team that you have in place, the people that support you in your vision.
Yeah, so like whenever my mom actually like jumps into this, whenever I like speaking Spanish, obviously to her, she doesn't know English, but I tell her in regards of we, and whenever I say we, I say me, myself, and I.
Okay, all right.
Like me, myself, and I, because like obviously whenever you're playing Ultimate Team, you're just like one versus one person. But obviously, I have a team behind me, which is like Nick Moyo and then Alyssa Gentile and then Mike Ridley from the team, and they have been extremely supportive. And then they have been following every single one of my games. And to be honest with you, I literally could not be happier with them in regards of like the response time on the support side and everything. They have made everything very crystal clear in regards to stuff, and I'm extremely grateful for that, to be honest with you.
Excellent. Now, I know there's a lot of strategy, especially like in shooters and stuff. So there's typically a coach. Do you have anyone that is in a coaching role or a mentor role for you in FIFA, or is it mainly just, no, I'm going out there and I'm doing my thing?
No, so like I actually like last year, whenever the qualifiers took place, a buddy of mine that I actually met through FIFA, and he was in Indiana, and then he was like, Pabs, like long story short, I'm moving to West Palm Beach, and I'm like, all right, bro, that's awesome. You're like 2 hours away. Like we could definitely like meet up and like catch a drink or something. And his name is Daniel Blanc. He goes by Polpe123, and he's actually been like my coach in the last like 6 qualifiers that I have played.
Nice.
And in like 4 of them, it has been very successful. And then in the other 2 ones, it's just me not completing like the proper, like I would say, the proper techniques and mechanics in order to beat the other player.
Now, walk us through the EMLS structure, because obviously if you're just playing, on the weekend league or just during the week, you're playing random individuals, right? But with the EMLS structure, you know who you're playing. So is this similar to how you would play any sport, football, basketball, soccer, in real life? Is there a scouting aspect? Are you watching film or previous games trying to understand their style and where you could exploit?
Definitely. I am very good friends with a bunch of them. So like we are all like on a Discord together, and like we share our screens in order for people to just like see us practicing, in quotations, I would say. And you basically do scout and like you basically do understand what the other players like mechanics and basics are. Mm-hmm. So like whenever the 5-3-2 formation got introduced into FIFA, and which is one of the most meta formations now, a bunch of the boys in the EMLS implied that formation, and you basically have to find a counter in order to break them down and basically get the result from them, right? So yeah, definitely in regards to the structure of the EMLS, there's 27 of us, 27 players competing, and you basically play best of 1 game with every single one of them, and then it is like divided into League Series 1. So they give you a schedule for League Series 1, and then they give you another schedule for League Series 2. Mm-hmm. And then that's how you play all 26 games against all the other players.
And so that's the regular season. But so we all play FIFA, right? Everybody listening to this podcast probably has some actual connection to FIFA. How did you become the actual MLS representative for Inter Miami? What was that process, right, in the selection of yourself?
Yeah. So in FIFA 20, the season ended, like the competitive season ended, and I was actually placed number 11th in North America. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I might have a shot at this whole competitive scene, right? Like I'm 11th in North America on PlayStation. There's other kids that are like below 50s, and they're signed to players, and they're signed to teams. So I have a buddy of mine at Scuff Gaming. I don't know if you guys know what Scuff Gaming is. Do you guys know what Scuff Gaming is? Like the controllers that have the paddles in the back.
Yeah. So like an elite controller.
Like an elite controller, yeah. Like Battle Weaver, other control freaks.
I bought one. It's supposed to be indestructible. It turns out it's not
supposed to make you better too, right?
It might have made me a little better, but it wasn't indestructible. I dropped it too much.
Because like the paddles in the back, it's basically like an X in a circle. So I rather just from motion, I would just rather press the other button. But I have a buddy at Scuff Gaming. He goes by Alex Mataisi. That's his name. And he literally came up to me. He's like, Pabs, like, Inter Miami is going to be in the EMLS next season. And this was like 2020, like last year, like beginning of last year. I'm like, you want me to like try to connect you? I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like, of course, like, let's make this happen. Like, trust me, I know I have what I can to be able to compete. And like, it would be a perfect fit for Inter Miami because like, obviously the whole Hispanic side and like Miami kind of raised here. And like, I went to high school here, I went to college here. So it's going to be like a perfect fit, right? So he sent out an email to the EMLS because Scuff Gaming is sponsored by, the EMLS sponsored by Scuff Gaming. There you go. And so he knows like Nandi, Bayon, all these guys from the EMLS, and he basically like shared like my small resume in regards to like FIFA, and EMLS connected me with Inter Miami, right? And then I just received an email from Nick actually, like when I was in my job, like literally sitting on my 9-to-5 job, like there I'm on the computer, right?
that
I'm hanging
email.
out, and I just received an email from Nick
it's
at
possible,
Inter Miami. I
everyone.
was like, no way, like what do you mean? Like this has to be spam.
Yeah. But you didn't like stand up and like, I'm out, I quit.
No,
F you,
this has
F
to be the
you,
newsletter,
F you.
guys. So yeah, I went through like 4 Zoom meetings with Nick and AG. I met them. Obviously, I kind of just, like I sold myself to them in regards of like my purpose and like what I want to do and like the way that I compete and like everything else. So it was kind of like a 2 month, what's it called, like recruiting process. And then, yeah, they just kind of like were like, hey, look, in regards of all the candidates that we have, we definitely want to move forward with you. And I was just like stoked.
Hell
like
yeah.
I was just like, let's go, guys.
So that was like a
go.
formal interview. It wasn't like, yo, you got to play our intern who just graduated college and has been doing nothing for 4 years.
Or like you got to play Jay Kington and, test your luck.
Yeah, no, but then they actually brought me into the stadium. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I played Pizarro, Macoun, and George Acosta. And whenever like I showed up to like the suite where we were playing on the suite, and I just saw the cameras and I saw everybody, like they were recording us already. I was like, there's no way that they're doing this for everybody else that's like a candidate. Like they for sure already picked me, but they haven't told me anything.
Yeah. Well, now, so were you nervous for those games? Like you're playing some pretty successful soccer.
Like I'm literally, I'm there in the suite, and I just see Pizarro walking in, and I'm like,
I can't go 0-3, man. I gotta win all.
Yeah. Actually started losing against Rodolfo the first game.
Really? Yeah. Well, hey, you got to make it interesting, right? You can't.
We were playing a kickoff, Inter Miami against Inter Miami. Let's hop on the ultimate team and let's see how that goes there.
Let me get the players I know exactly. So,
let me get the Vieiras, let me get the Cruyffs, let me get the Pelés, let me get.
So what I guess initially got you into the sport? I mean, obviously it's very big in Latin America, but did you grow up loving? Was there a club that you grew up, loving, and then obviously you came to Miami? They're getting a new MLS team. Why not just get on board with a local team? But tell us about your past, kind of coming into the sport.
So like when I was like 7 years old, like my mom literally decided that she was like, "Hey, look, you gotta play a sport, right?" And I was just like, "All right, like little Pabs, it's just there, sitting at home, playing on the computer, RuneScape or whatever it is."
RuneScape.
Yeah, right. And then she put me like into tennis, swimming, soccer, baseball. And then like it was like literally like 3 months of just like going to every single practice, right? And I was just like, man, like I can't do this. Like I literally cannot physically do this. Like my knees are starting to hurt because of like I'm going from tennis, which is like concrete, to soccer, which is on cleats, to swimming.
7 years old with some knee problems.
Yeah, I imagine that, right? So I told her like I wanted to get out from baseball and like from like swimming and all of that. So I just like got left with like tennis and soccer. And then like soccer was just like a big thing for me. Like it kind of just like crushed me in regards of like this is what I want to do, right? Like I want to be a professional soccer player whenever I grow up and everything. So I played at this like small club / academy in Valencia, Venezuela, that it was called Club Italo, which is like Italian club basically. Like that'll be the translation. And I played there my whole life since I was 7 to 13, right? 6 years. And then I used to always support Barcelona. Like ever since Ronaldinho arrived to Barca in 2003, I literally became a Barcelona hard die culé fan. Like literally like so die-hard fan that I even used my tax return money to go to watch the Liverpool Barca game in Camp Nou.
Yeah, okay, well, there you go. All right, I'll respect it. I've got my beefs with Barca, but I'll respect it.
No, I know we've been struggling, but like at the end of the day, you're supporting the club.
Oh no, I'm just talking about living through like they're like the Patriots of the soccer world, where they're always winning.
Yeah, but not lately. We haven't been winning.
Yeah.
I'm the normal one.
I don't think that's the right one, buddy.
Well, you know what? We're just gonna move on from that one. But
This is why you're not allowed on the soundboard.
Soundboard got taken away from me. Nothing got worked on here. But Paps, talk to me about how much do you practice a week? Because I'm putting in about 10 hours of work about a week right now. Is that enough?
Yeah, 10 hours of work and about 30 hours of gaming. You need to get your ass back in the office.
That's a proper full-time. That's a proper full-time
we
job
work
right
together.
there.
One of us works and the other one just is
No,
there.
but like so yeah, I definitely like I would say like I put minimum 2 hours into the game daily. Like I literally where I'm sitting, like if I'm like sitting here, right, and I'm like I have my computer in front of me, like my job computer, right, and like my other monitor, I literally just as soon as 6 p.m. hits, I change the HDMI and I go and I hop on FIFA, right? Like whether I'm like playing pro clubs, Ultimate Team, and like lately it's just been proper Ultimate Team in order to like practice for like the last chance qualifier that's coming up. I believe like mid-March.
Answer me this question: are you working remote for your job right now?
Yeah, I'm working from home.
That is some trouble for your job right now.
No, 100%.
So are you streaming or not, just so you can save your job?
No, I'm streaming past 6 p.m. in order to save my job.
Yeah, there's the boy. But
where are you streaming on, so everyone can watch?
Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch on my channel, which is IMCF_Pabs, and from the club's channel, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, which is InterMiami_CF.
My man. So question, when you're not playing FIFA, what game are you playing? I know you talked a little bit about Call of Duty. Where are you at outside of FIFA?
Yeah, Warzone, man. Warzone is like my output, like my getaway from FIFA. Like, hey, look, I'm having a bad time on FIFA. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Verdansk Warzone.
Until you come across a hacker and have a worse time on Warzone.
The worst part is that I disable crossplay in order to not play with hackers, bro.
So that's what you have to do. Because that's how we could get up, is we could do crossplay. But you got to run with all the PC guys with their aim.
Yeah, but like I have buddies that like play on PC as well. So we just jump on, enable crossplay, and then forget it. Like if we get killed by a hacker, we get killed by a hacker. If we don't, then we're
having fun getting headshot from 500 meters away. It's fine.
Well, listen, let's pivot back over to FIFA. And Paps, got to ask, who is the most talented FIFA player on Inter Miami right now? FIFA player. Who's your best guy?
I'll probably say either Juli Carranza or Rodolfo Pizarro, which is like those, like whenever I play Pizarro in the little trial that I had, he actually like showed that he actually knew how to play the game. And that's somebody that I actually like, I was just like, oh, you know what? Like he actually knows. And then Julie, whenever we play each other, whenever we play online, we definitely he knows how to do the simple X's, the shots, the not the counters, but like the finesses. And that's somebody that that definitely knows the game properly.
And just tell the listeners, where are you right now? Just so we can have the perspective.
Right now, in my buddy's office in the Raw.
Okay.
And
just
I literally told him.
Coming from where? Tell them where you're coming from.
What happened?
Tell them where you're coming from.
I'm coming from a Sunday League final in the Raw where we won 1-0.
He's like a steel trap.
We got the dub.
We got pure the dub. Quality. He's pure quality.
And apparently Juli Carranza is hiding behind the door.
The worst part that he probably is.
Yeah, right. But so, thoughts on the club itself. Obviously, you represent Inter Miami on the gaming side of things. Obviously, that has to translate into being a fan of the club. Huge fan. What are your expectations? What are your projections of this club moving into 2021?
Well, I want to do like a little recap in regards of like last season first, because I feel like it was like a phenomenal season in regards of the club making playoffs, like within the first season of being like competing. Like there was huge positives on the club side, on the player side. Team. Say it again.
It doesn't happen for every expansion team out there.
No, it literally doesn't happen. Like there's like other clubs that like have been in the MLS for like certain amount of time already, and they didn't even make playoffs like once. And like Inter Miami comes into the picture, with a new mentality, with a new like idea, and we were able to compete, and we were able to obviously, we got knocked out in the first round of playoffs. Yeah, it happens. But then like we made it there, we played a huge game against FC Cincinnati where like it was literally like storming in Miami.
It was raining
and
sideways.
We got the 3 points there. Yeah. We got the 3 points there in order to make it. So like it showed that the club actually has like willpower in order to fight for stuff, right? So I feel like that's a great fundamental in regards of last season that Phil Neville, now the new head coach, could definitely bring on and could definitely push the players more in order to request like that little extra mile that the player needs to do in order to complete a pass or get to a tackle. And I think that honestly, I feel like this upcoming season is going to be very, very big for us. I think that the right ideas are coming in, and I feel like the right players are coming in as well. Like Ryan Shockers, which is coming from the Barclays Premier League, which is a huge signing for us because it could definitely bring a lot of experience in the back. And then Gonzalo, which is he had a rough start when he scored only 1 goal last season, but he's definitely coming in with a different mentality. Hey, look, we're here to fight. And that's what we plan on doing. And then,
he
I
looks
honestly
lean.
think that
he looks good. I know the new beard that, Gonzalo has on
he
him right now.
He has it going for him. He really has it going.
He's got that
right,
Maybach
guys,
Music Group Ross thing going for him. Look, we keep referencing the same kind of thing. We have raw talent. We have very talented players. I just don't think the system, Alonso's system in particular, was how this team thrives. So you bring in a Phil Neville, who is much more Gary and Jorge's guy, right? And this is going to change the system that they're playing in. And we hope that we could, in the right system, in the right formations, with the right mentality, that we're going to start seeing a lot more results, especially with a more sound defense, because there were several games we lost by 1 goal. And you just flip that up on its head, and then we were taking home W's.
But we were always on the game, which is always good, because whenever teams go ahead and they score 2, 3, 4 past you, then okay, you were never in the game. Yeah, you were in the game whenever it was 0-0, but then that was probably within the first 10 minutes of the game. But then whenever you have a 1-0 game, over the 90 minutes, hey, look, you were literally just one simple pass away from scoring, one shot away, one mistake from them away from getting the 3 points,
Well, I felt like it was a microcosm that was all building up to one moment, the end of last year. Before we even played Cincinnati in the final game, that felt like a hurricane. We were playing outside. But before that match, right, when we played, was it Toronto, right? When Ben Sweat made that foul, right? And that was it, right? And it was just a split moment that our guys were playing phenomenal the entire match, taking down a pretty tough opponent. And then for 1 second, lapse of mental, right? And then boom, that was it.
That we could have literally, that would have been at least 5 games last season, that if we didn't have that one
and literally,
no,
100%.
And NYCFC comes back to memory too, and the MLS is back as tournament with a lob pass right over the top.
Or go back to the very beginning against DC United.
I totally agree.
We were going to be 2-0, and then Roman.
The point is you're absolutely right. It's the fact that we have been in every single match, right? It's not the fact that we've been blown out 5-0 or 3-1, things 100%. Like that, right? We're right there for the cutting edge.
Yeah, which is good because obviously other teams are getting blown out, right? By Atlanta United, let's say whenever they beat, I don't even know who they be but I know they would be rocking other teams.
Very few.
And then whenever they come here and then they're just up 2-1 against us or something like that, that shows that hey, look, we have these fundamentals. We're just one tick and one screw away from actually getting the 3 points.
Yeah. So tell us what is next for IMPC. Or not IM. That's our
IMCF.
That's our acronym. IMCF. Sorry, I think use our acronym. Well, because Diddley Cristolito won the Series 2. So what comes next on your front?
So we have this thing called the Last Chance Qualifier, where the spots from 12 to 27 compete for one single spot on the MLS Cup playoffs. I go against JKO from New England, which in the regular season, we tied 2-2. But I honestly feel like I should have gotten the 3 points. I was up 2-0 against them. And then I honestly think that the nerves just kind of got into me in the last minute of the game. And I just made a small mistake in regards of hitting a diagonal through ball where I gave him the ball for the last chance. And he actually went back and scored on me for the 2-2 in the last minute. So I feel I feel confident in regards to that first game. And then after, we'll see how the bracket plays out. But we have the Last Chance Qualifier coming along mid-March, I believe March 15th, 16th, some of those 2 dates. And then we'll see if we could definitely make a proper good run in order to jump into the MLS Cup playoffs. Because I honestly feel that we should have been there. I dropped points. I dropped points when I shouldn't have dropped points. And we were only 3 points away from making the playoffs in our first season, So, in League Series 1, we were in the power rankings like as fifth. We come in, we were fighting, we were getting the 3 points here and there. And then after, it was just kind of like backtracking in regards of all the stuff that I had already done. So yeah, definitely last chance qualifier in order to be able to make the MLS Cup playoffs and then go against Philby from Toronto FC, that will be the first game from whoever makes it out in the last chance qualifier.
Well, you're going against people that have probably been, competitively gaming with FIFA for many
4 or
many
5 years.
So coming in, this is your first true professional gaming experience, and I think you've represented the club well. I've watched
thank you so much
streams and
I appreciate it.
Trying to stay up with everything. So just because I like it, because again I'm a nerd myself, but want to update all the
things. Me too. Trust me.
So just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Also keep doing what you're doing, but also word for some youngsters out there. I mean, we got
anybody
a lot of
that
young listeners right now. I mean, what kind of direction can you offer someone who's looking to get into the e-gaming world?
I'll definitely think that just put in the work, right? Like whenever you put in the work into your craft, that's where you get better, right? So I mean, I was if you guys know the weekly rankings, which is bronze, silver, gold, elite 3, elite 2, elite 1. I actually started as a gold 2, gold 1 player. I was out of 40 games, I would get 20 wins. I would go 20 and 20, right? And I was just all right, you know what? We gotta do better. Right? We gotta do better. We gotta go better. And then we just, we were putting in the work. We were putting in the time. We were reaching out to other pro players at the time. Obviously, some of them didn't answer because they live in their own world and stuff like that. But a few did, right? And you would just ask for regular small tips in regards of hey, look, what should I do in this situation? Hey, what should I do here? And that's where you actually learn and you actually go back into your gameplay and you understand that, hey, look, this is what I should have done in order to get a goal, in order to get a chance. And I would definitely just say to put in the work, to put in the practice, to put in everything, and to obviously hey, yeah, you get knocked out several times, but always get back up and always go and keep on fighting if this is what you actually want,
Yes. So there's times that, Jay and I watch games and, watch someone like, Lewis Morgan, and we'll be like, X button, X in the middle.
A simple X.
Yeah, exactly.
Step over, go.
Is there ever a time that you're listen, Julian, listen, bro, you got to hit that X button a little bit quicker on this, right? Is there any time that you educate some of the players that you may play with?
For sure. Whenever I jump into pro clubs, right? All my buddies here, that are outside, we all play pro clubs together. We're Division 1. I play as any, I'm controlling the computers and they're just controlling the attack, right? And then I always give a small tip here and there. I always yo, you should have done an X. Hey, shoot, bro. You were wide open. Yo, beat the AI by doing this. Beat this. Yeah, obviously I have a bunch of buddies behind me regarding this new breakthrough season that I had, just because before I was a casual, and then from night to day I'm a pro, and then they were just Pav, you definitely got this, you're definitely doing this properly, you're just missing those small tweaks, and those small tweaks are the ones that I give to them whenever we're playing pro clubs,
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I'm competing, my heart is up here, boom, 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 right? And then that's whenever I gotta keep calm and use those small tips that I give to them for my own proper gameplay.
Excellent. Well, I know you're really wanting to get to celebrating your weekend league win here, so we will not keep you any longer.
Sunday league vibes.
Sunday league. We do not want to keep you, but we thank you so much for coming on to the show. Maybe we'll get up
guys,
in the
honestly,
future.
I appreciate it so much.
It's the first time. It's not the last.
It's not the last.
No. It won't be the last, guys. It definitely won't be the last.
Man.
We can definitely do it again
until he links up with us on crossplay Call of Duty. Then he never wants to talk to us again.
We could definitely jump in. We could definitely jump into crossplay for sure. For sure. We can jump into Verdansk and then pop off.
We'll tell the listeners while we're jumping off the microphones where they can connect with you. Love to hear a little bit more about it.
For sure. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. For everybody listening, stay tuned to Inter Miami podcast. These guys are doing it the best thing possible for the club. And yeah, let's keep it going.
Excellent. Plug your social before we go.
My socials on Instagram is Pablo Andres with double E. And then my Twitter, it's IMCF_Pabs. And that's my Twitch as well, IMCF_Pabs. I go live on the weekend league and during the week for rivals and rewards.
Excellent. We always end everything with Vamos Miami. Gracias, mi amigo.
Vamos que vamos, dale.
Pretty awesome interview. Thank you again so much, Pops, for coming on the show. That's just to learn the inner workings of the esports leagues is always awesome. I mean, what a great guy to have representing your club, man.
Yeah, and then Jay, I know you're still a little bitter about not getting that call, but
I've come to terms with it. It's okay.
It's all right, man. It's all right. Have you guys played FIFA since?
We have not. Well, he's PS4.
That's right.
So he's a PlayStation guy. I'm Team Xbox, but we are going to have to get up on some crossplay Call of Duty, I guess, just to get out there and see who, maybe he's got me on FIFA. We'll see if he can get me on the Call of Duties though.
No, it was pretty cool. I can only speak for myself, but I have never even spoken with an esports game star personally. So it was cool to kind of learn about, his world.
Definitely. I have come across many people who say they are on Xbox, but I don't know if it's legit true. So we do know that Pops is one. But since this interview, the EMLS season for Series 1 and Series 2 has come to an end. We covered this previously, but just to recap, he represented Inter Miami during both the EMLS League Season 1 and League Series 2. Ooh, really struggling here with the pronunciations. Capping his season with a run to the semifinals of the Last Chance qualifiers. But in League Series 1, Pabs kicked off Inter Miami's participation in the EMLS with a competitive start in League Series 1. He ultimately fell short of the knockout rounds, but scored third most goals in the qualifying rounds with 44. In League Series 2, he showed more promise in the second tournament, this time finishing 18th out of 27 players, though he didn't qualify for the knockout rounds. Austin has this guy who's just like a machine. But League Series 2, Didi Crislito from NYCFC actually won that. I did watch that game in true nerd fashion.
Like the nerd you are, Jay, but I support it. But hey, don't worry, dude. You can always play me and Than in FIFA. We got Xbox, dude. We're just as good, right? But anyway, you can go ahead and see that video on I think we're going to post it on our Facebook, as well as Pink Smoke. If you haven't done so already, go ahead, shoot us a DM. Pink Smoke is live. It's hitting you weekly. It's bringing you the hottest Inter Miami news that we do not cover on the pod, so go ahead and do so.
And it's going to be free till at least the season starts.
Exactly.
And then, get in now while you can.
Exactly. Save yourself a few $1,000s. Just kidding. But anyway, Jay,
what 1,000 pennies maybe?
What's next for Pabs in his career?
So next up, he will be continue streaming every week on Thursday through Sunday nights on Inter Miami CF's Twitch and YouTube channel. He will also try and qualify for a place in the FIFA 21 Global Series, which is a tournament consisting of the best FIFA players in the world. Kind of think of that like the FIFA Club World Cup. By ranking as one of the top 16 FIFA 21 players in North America on PS4. Similar to the EMLS Cup, there is a broadcast event for every regional qualifier in which only the top 6 players qualify. IMCF Pabs will be competing in qualifiers on March 27th and 28th and on April 17th and April 18th. You can follow him on Twitter. It's at IMCF_Pabs, PABS. What a legend.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Just hanging out with Huli Kranza in the back room. Like, no, chill, Louis. Chill. I got to take this interview.
Whoa. rumored to be.
Allegedly,
sir. But no, we're just about done with this episode of the Inter Miami podcast. But before we get out of here, there was one rumor, Jay.
Oh, yeah. And, oh, man, I was excited about this. But it was... the rumor was for Marcelo from Real Madrid, legendary Real Madrid player, legendary Brazilian national team player. I I was very excited to see this. I think it would be a possibility. You know, Beckham obviously has his ties to Real Madrid after playing there, but my gut feeling tells me this is not going to be something that does happen, because we did just get Kieran Gibbs. I think this was a backup plan to Kieran Gibbs, and but you never know.
You never know. This is the MLS, and this is David Beckham. So we'll go ahead and see what's going on. But that is it. We are at the end of the Inter Miami podcast. This is season 2, episode 54, coming to you. We thank you. If you like this podcast, go ahead, drop us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We would definitely appreciate it. And if you don't want to miss an episode of IMPC, go ahead, click that subscribe button. You'll never miss an episode. Go ahead, tell your friends, do your thing, and feel free to follow us on social media at Inter Miami Podcast for Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter, Inter MIA Podcast. So go ahead and do so. And if you don't already, what are you doing? Go ahead, DM us, subscribe to Pink Smoke. And guess what? We got a special episode dropping tomorrow, everybody. Tomorrow, new episode of Inter Miami Podcast, introduction to Than Harrington. Don't miss it. He's going to be the new correspondent for the Academies and FTLCF. Until then, vamos Miami.
Vamos Miami.